All right, jumping right into the main story. Secret Service more upset over diversity criticism than Trump actually having lead flying at him. This kind of blew me away. Here we are 7 days after the event. We still haven't heard anything from the Secret Service. It's still kind of shrouded in secrecy. So everybody's going crazy over on Twitter, doing audio recordings and doing 3D models and trying to figure out where rounds landed. Everybody's turned into Inspector Clouseau. I find it interesting. I'm not, giving those people a hard time. But what's going to happen is there are going to be so many people that come out and believe things before the official story gets out, that they're going to have their mindset. And then the official story is going to come out and people are going to say, yeah, I don't believe you. So the Secret Service came out just a couple of days. This is from the 17th. Now, today's the 20th as of recording this. So this is 3 days ago. And they say the Secret Service is target of misogynistic backlash after somebody tried to take out the almighty Trump. And this isn't the story I'm going to read from, but this is a Joe Miller in New York. And this is his opinion about how this is very, very bad, that all we men and Elon Musk and senators are all making fun of the women that cringed and cowered in fear, right? Well, the Secret Service had a reply to this the same day. The same day they had a reply. So this is July 17th, 3 days ago. We haven't heard any motive. We haven't heard any information. We've had very little official reporting. But 3 days ago, the Secret Service says it's appalled by DEI rhetoric against the female agents after the Trump event. Isn't it crazy that they have time to come out and say, you making fun of these women is bad? Okay, but can we be told what really happened? And can we get some news and events on like who this guy is and how did he do this? No, we're too busy shaming you for making fun of my female agents. Okay, lady, how about maybe some actual doing something? This tells you everything you need to know about the society we live in today. This tells you everything you need to know. They're more worried about you poking fun at incompetent agents like Miss Butterbean over here, that they had to special order a special outfit for because she's as wide as she is tall. They're more concerned you're making fun of her because she didn't know what she was doing than actually what happened. Dude. So this is from NBC News. They say Secret Service says it's appalled by DEI rhetoric against female agents after Trump rally event. Saturday shooting is the latest instance of right-leaning social media accounts trying to link diversity, equity, and inclusion programs to deeply troubling news events. Let me just say this. This is a good thing, because the more these stories get out, that not only is the Secret Service agency upset that people are pointing this out, but it's tying DEI with bad thing happened. That is actually a win, because they still haven't come out and said what's going on. So this, in my mind, is a win, not for Trump, not for our administration, not for our government. That's a complete failure on their part. But this does show you what their priorities are today, and it is not finding out what actually happened. It's whining about misogyny. The Secret Service said Wednesday that it stood by its female agents and was appalled by some of the criticism they've received on conservative social media. Apparently, Twitter is conservative social media now. Since Saturday's attempted ending of former President Donald Trump, the Secret Service, in a statement to NBC News, said that the criticism from pundits and influencers like Senator Tom Cotton, influencers like Tim, I think his last name's Burchett, one of the representatives from Tennessee. Apparently having senators call this out is their influencers now. Okay, good luck with that. The agency also stood by its commitment to diversity in recruiting and is helping, not hurting, the effectiveness of its protective teams. They said right after completely botching and failing a detail. The statement follows a multi-day campaign of derision by some conservatives who accused Kimberly Cheadle, the Secret Service director, of being unqualified, and who said the female agents assigned to Trump hadn't been physically capable of protecting him. Some critics said Secret Service should return to being all male. Look, there's when a puppy falls in a ravine, the women run around screaming with their hands in the air, and the men usually form a human chain or get a rope or grab a rowboat or take off their shoes and go diving in the water to save a frickin' puppy. It's not the same biological build for men versus women when it comes to this stuff. And you guys have seen, I've shown the photos of Miss Butterbean over here, this particular agent, cringing behind everybody.
A weird little hobbit, radicalized by the media, made an attempt on the Donald's life. Instantly, the real Secret Service agents sprang into action, while Pat the lunch lady cowered behind a podium, longing to be back in the school cafeteria spooning out sloppy joes, after drawing a sidearm from its holster for the first time in her 2-hour-long career. Pat the lunch lady seems unsure of how to return the pea shooter to its home. Not wanting to look foolish by being unable to return her newly acquired pea shooter to its holster, Pat made an executive decision to pretend to draw this strange new tool, attempting to look tactical with her new badge and sunglasses.
When the other men dove on top. Now, here's the good news. She is wide enough to protect Trump, because Trump's a big guy. She is wide enough, but she only comes up to like a little above his belly button. So that part, that's not enough. Anthony Guglielmi, the Secret Service chief communications, said in the statement, "We stand united against any attempt to discredit our personnel after they failed and their invaluable contributions after they failed to our mission after we failed, and are appalled by the disparaging and disgusting comments after we failed against any of our personnel after we failed." Now, yes, I did add a little bit to those statements. As an elite law enforcement agency, they're elite now, all of our agents and officers are highly trained and fully capable of performing our missions, except you failed. So when you say they're elite, which is the best of the best, and you're highly trained, and you're fully capable of performing the mission, and then you failed the mission, then they're either not elite, you're not highly trained, you're not fully capable, and you didn't perform your mission. Let me read live tips before they disappear. Sierra Fotag says, $50. Thank you, sir. Just a little tip for the jar. Thanks. Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. That's over on some of you guys that hear me reading things. I actually see it intermixes both Rumble and Locals chats. You guys don't see each other, but I see everybody. So it's not like a competition. I can easily see everything. He says, they continue on, "It's an insult to the women of our agency to imply that they are unqualified based on their gender. Such baseless assertions undermine the professionalism, dedication, and expertise of our workforce." But again, we're going to boil down to the problem. The women physically were not big enough. They came up to they didn't protect Trump's head, his shoulders, probably his chest region, which is pretty important. They're too short for that, number one. Number two, they were not assertive in any way, shape, or form. They ran around like they were lost and didn't know what they were doing. When you and they even say here, the failure of the Secret Service to stop the guy before he was in a position has come under intense scrutiny. But shouldn't it, though? Shouldn't it? With lawmakers demanding answers and an independent review panel investigating the circumstances. The attendees said they pointed out this guy to law enforcement and took video of him for at least 2 minutes. Okay, so that's a failure. They say, but the criticism of the female agents has been different. Not entirely. At least 3 female agents were among those protecting Trump in the moments after the event, according to videos, and in the days since, their actions have become popular targets of criticism and jokes among conservatives. No, jokes among everybody with eyes. with several posts on X receiving more than 10 million views. Okay, female agents crouching down, not anywhere near the situation, like 3 feet behind Trump, crouching down with her hands like this, and she's not looking anywhere but at the back of the other agents jumping on Trump. That's number one. Number two, Butterbean up here in this particular photo, unable to put her away, and she's lost and looking around. Then these 3 agents turning to each other saying, what do we do? What are we doing? Okay, there's your proof. But the biggest takeaway from this, guys, seriously, because I've talked about this stuff before in other videos, the biggest takeaway here is they're more upset that people are making fun of these female agents than they are over failing the detail. They're more upset over being called out than they are of actually having one of the first events since the 1960s and an actual event since the 1980s, which was 40 some odd years ago, give or take. They're more concerned over people making fun of the female agents than actually getting to the bottom of the problem. If that doesn't tell you anything about our current state of government and the people in charge, I don't know what to tell you. But here's the icing on the cake. Here's the icing on the cake. Now, this is from July 20th. Today is July 20th. This is a news story from today. Have we heard about what happened? Motives, how he succeeded, what happened to the perimeter, ballistics, any of that? No, not as of today, Saturday, July 20th. From the post-millennial today, about an hour ago, breaking, Biden DHS, Department of Homeland Security boss, Mayorkas, pledges to recruit, retain, not retrain, retain, and elevate women after the Trump attempt. We still don't have any answers. And he's still, but before coming out and saying, here's what we know, here's what's going on, because let's face it, if this happened to Biden, this would be 24 news coverage every second with video replays of it, and the agents getting called out because they almost let Captain Potato Head eat it, right? But here, they're like, oh, well, these assertions are baseless and insulting, Mayorkas says, after being critical for DEI practices in the USSS. We still don't have any answers. We still don't have any answers. And they're coming out saying the women were great. How dare you make fun of these women? We don't know who failed. We don't know whose fault it is. How dare you call out Kim Cheeto, the department head? And they come out and they say, we're focused on recruiting and retraining and elevating women, even though we don't have any idea what's happened so far. This is unbelievable. This drives me crazy. What are we doing? We don't have any answers for anything. And they're coming out saying not only is it not the women's fault, and it's not the head of the department's fault because she hasn't been fired yet, but now they're coming out today saying we're going to recruit even more, and we're going to elevate even more women, even though we haven't told you what actually happened yet. They say after the attempt on Donald Trump on Saturday, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has pledged to recruit, retain, and elevate women in law enforcement, the DHS, over the Secret Service, the agency which has come under fire for DEI practices, including quotas for women in the security force after the attempt on Trump. Mayorkas posted in a statement in response to worries about DEI in the agency, saying in the days following the attempt on former President Trump, some people have made public statements questioning the presence of women in law enforcement, including the United States Secret Service. We in the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the largest law enforcement organization, will with great pride, focus, and devotion to mission continue to recruit, retain, and elevate women, blah, blah, blah. Director of Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle's come under heavy scrutiny, said that she wants to have 30% women by 2030. Do you know what's funny? Do you know what I find interesting about this whole thing? Where's my full screen? what I find interesting about this, what would have happened if there were lead actually came at Trump with the Secret Service agents around them, and these women started catching like flies? What would have happened if these ladies actually got ended and Trump took one in the shoulder? I think they would, instead of talking more about, Trump getting hit in the shoulder or something like that, they would be praising these women more than the attempt against Trump. They would elevate these women above Trump. I have no doubts that would actually happen. These women would be heroes to the country. But what if it was guys? Well, if it was guys, that's what they're supposed to do. It's their job. And they're good. They're good men for doing it, but it's their job. But these women are special. They went above and beyond. We know that's what would be happening with this stuff. So there you have it, everybody. They are more interested in hiring practices and protecting these women, even though they've completely blown the ball.